It is very hard to unlearn things. I'm telling you, you learn things and then you'll end up, this is just who I am, this is the way I am. It's easier just to live with you than to unlearn you. I'm telling you, to unlearn you is really, really hard. And to unlearn, if you've been around church and religious people, they're the most, they're worser than, they're more worse than, no, I'm going to use worser, even though that's not right. I'm going to use worser because religious people, I think you have to worry about religious people more than you have to worry about Satan. Because they always want you to fit in this mold of what they think it should be like. Now, granted, I am not talking about me having my own opinion of what I think's right and wrong, but it's this religious thing, and I grew up in that. I grew up around that. And now I've been since 2016 unlearning religion. But if you don't do it right, you become an Ishmael, a wild ass. That's not a bad word. Ishmael was a wild ass. You become a Christian that you have no structure around you. You have no standard around you. You do what you want to do, and that's not what it's about. It's about a relationship, but it is about authenticity and genuineness in your relationship. And religion is just that. It's just opposite of the song that Casey was singing about the Father loves you. And when something didn't go right in my life, I would think, oh, what did I do? I'm trying to go through, did I say this? Did I do this? And I'm trying to run through all the things I did of why God's getting me now. Why am I in trouble? And this process will keep you so distracted from your relationship because you're always trying to perform and live this thing. And I remember when I was growing up, my parents would tell me stuff and I'd like, yeah, that's not for, that won't happen with me. They would tell you, don't do this, you shouldn't do this. Yeah, but that's for you. You're old. I'm smarter. And then I found out in life, and I'm like, you ever heard the old saying, eating crow or whatever? You found out in life, Mom and Dad were right. They may not have been 100% right. They were 99% right. They were right. See, you've got to unlearn this. So let me give you a strategy or a point here, what I'm trying to get to. I know that being saved and born again is the absolute joy of the church and of your salvation. But see, your salvation doesn't make your life better on earth. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. See, salvation, if you look at salvation, you say, my name's written in the book of life, I'm saved, I'm going to heaven. Yeah, but what if I have to live here for another 50 years? Listen to me, you can live broke, you can live not being able to pay your bills, you can live with multiple relationship breakups or divorces, you can have your car repossessed, you can live homeless. It doesn't matter. When you get saved, none of that changes. If you're homeless when you get saved, you're homeless after you get saved. If you're broke before you get saved, you're broke afterwards. If you're skinty before you get saved, you're skinty after. If you're overweight when you get saved, you're going to be the same weight after. None of that changes your life. And let me just tell you what Paul said. And we may read this. See, there's no one in this room, none of you, are more religious than what I was. None of you have ever fasted 40 days, just water. None of you have ever slept on a cot and isolated themselves from their family for weeks at a time just so I could. No social media, just silence to be with God. I was like, Paul says, I worked harder than everybody. I worked harder than, I'm not saying everyone. I worked harder. Look at me. Everyone in this room, I worked harder at serving God than anyone in this room. No question in my mind on a religious way. You go one day without food and see how you act. Go 5 days. I'm talking just straight water. Go 5 days without food and see how you act. So I'm here to tell you from experience in the journey, your religion will not get you to where you want to go. It's just going to make you more miserable. I'm so glad to be free or being freed from this. So today we're going to talk about, this is probably one of my favorite of the dozen or so that I'm teaching on. This is probably one of my favorite. But let me start with this. Say this, it is my duty. It is my obligation. It is my ethical responsibility to be successful. A successful Christian, a successful business owner, a successful spouse, a successful friend. I don't know who the DJ is, but all I do is win. That should be your song. I mean, if you go get a tattoo, it should just be win. People will get sick and tired of hearing your wins. Joshua 1, 2 through 10, prepare to cross over. See, wherever you are today, to go where you want to go, you're going to have to cross something. You're going to have to cross some mindsets, some traditions, some religion, and it's work. Cross to the country I'm giving to the sons of God. I'm giving you every square inch of the land. You, not me, you set your foot on. You're going to a different place than I'm going. Until you die and go to heaven, you're on a different trajectory than I am. You're going to accomplish different things. Your life's going to be different from mine. So we're not trying to copy each other's life and what they're doing. Just as I promised, it's all yours. Abba is saying everything I have is all yours. Everything in the Bible, it's all yours. Not just Jesus. Everything on earth is all yours. Braxton and Roman and Shane and Rania, you go get the drive one day, but not today. And it's about maturity and your development and your responsibility. Everything God has is about your maturity, your development, and your responsibility. It's not that He keeps anything from us. It's we've not matured enough. No, I don't even know. I'll be with you. I won't give up on you. How many people has given up on you? God says, I won't give up on you. How many people has left you? God says, I won't leave you. Strength and courage. You're going to need strength and courage to get through this. You're going to need strength and courage to cross over. You're going to need strength and courage to go through. You're going to need strength and courage. It's not going to be handed to us. You are going, I'm reading this out of the scripture there on your paper. You're going to lead these people to inherit the land that I promised to give your ancestors. Give it everything you have. This is so big. You got to give it everything. You've got to have the enthusiasm. You've got to have the adrenaline. You've got to have the energy. You've got to have the positive mental attitude. You got to give it heart and soul. Make sure you carry out the revelation that God commanded you, every bit of it. Don't get off track either to the left or the right. That means don't get distracted. Don't let people get you off track. Don't let people invite you into things you know you shouldn't be invited to. Let me pause right. No. If I pause, I'll rabbit trail. Let me go. So as to make sure you get to where you're going and possess, look at this, possess what? Overwhelming success. Right now, if you were to go ask your mom and dad, are you overwhelmingly successful? What would they say? If you were to ask your friends and people in your neighborhood, are you overwhelmingly successful? What would they say? Of course, they're going to make the observation and the assumption based on what they see and what you have. But are you overwhelmingly successful? God created you to be overwhelmingly successful. And we're going to get into why are some people overwhelmingly successful and some are not? Why does some have more money and some don't? Why does some have, it seems, everything they touch is gold and some don't? There's an answer for that, and it has nothing to do with the neighborhood you were raised in. It has nothing to do with your skin color. None of that matters if you're saved, because the Word says there's neither Jew nor Greek, nor black nor white, nor poor nor rich. It's all up to you of how you navigate this journey. Don't get off track. Uh-oh. You know, God will send people, not God, people will come into your life and you say, oh my goodness, and they're there to get you off track. And some people just don't have the discernment or the wisdom to tell you, I know what you're after. You're after to get me off track. If someone comes into your life and they just pop into your life, you know they're there to get you off track. You know that. Overwhelmingly success in everything you put your hands to. That's pretty positive. And don't for a minute let this book, the Bible, out of your mind. Ponder, meditate on it day and night, making sure you practice everything written in it. Then you'll get to where you're going. You want to get to where you're going, you got to practice. You want to get better, you got to practice. You want to become professional, you got to practice. Practice. Everything written in it. Then you'll get to where you're going. Then, notice there's two thens. Then. That means after you do this, then this occurs. You don't get then before you're doing this. You don't get to, let me tell you something to get you this delusional. To think you can harvest where you've not planted. You do not get to reap where you have not sown. And so many people want to reap where they've not planted anything. They want benefits where they've not done anything to get the benefits. And then they become a victim. When you don't get what you want, you immediately become a victim. Anytime you make an excuse and say, well, it's because of my background, it's because of this, it's because of that, you're a victim. You have allowed yourself to be conditioned to be a victim. God, my favorite verse out of Romans 8, and this is something I did every day, multiple times a day. You've heard me tell the story. And now it is ingrained in my mind. God is for me, not against me. God is never against me. He's never after me. He's never to beat me. He's never there. He's not to write me a ticket. He's not to send me to jail. He is not there to incarcerate me. He's not there to punish me. He's not there to hurt me. God is for me, not against me. I said that tens of thousands of times until I believed it. And sometimes that tries to creep back in, but I'm like, I recognize that voice. Then you'll get where you're going. Then you will enjoy incredible, not only overwhelming success, it says that you are to enjoy incredible prosperity and success. So define prosperity. You have to define this for you. Let me tell you what religion defines prosperity and success. Spirituality. That's how they define it, how good of a Christian you are, how well you perform. Haven't I commanded you strength and courage? Don't be timid. Don't get discouraged. Abba, your Papa, is with you every step of the way. God is for me, not against me. God is for me, not against me. This is so good. So the issue is right here. If you could take this little organ out of your skull, this right here, you know who your greatest enemy is? Right here. This will tell you someone else is your enemy. This will tell you the government's your enemy. This will tell you your parents are your enemy. This will tell you your pastor's your enemy. This will tell you your teachers are your enemy. This will tell you the white man's your enemy. This will tell you that the black man's your enemy. This will tell you it is conditioned, and because it tells you stuff doesn't mean it is accurate. we're going to get into one of the things we're going to talk about is accurate thinking. I can hear people talking, and immediately when I hear them talk, I can tell whether it's accurate or not. I can tell whether it is a guess. I can tell whether they've not studied it. I can tell whether it's an opinion. This right here, this is the problem that we have. It's nobody else. It's all within. It's an unrenewed mind. We're going to jump more into that. So Jesus said, if you're able to believe, all things are possible. So what you are not able to believe is possible. If you don't believe you can be successful, if you don't believe you can be a good Christian, if you don't believe you're lovable, if you don't believe you're worthwhile, if you don't believe you're valuable, if you don't believe it, guess what? You're not. Out of your mouth speaks what's in the heart. If you don't believe that you are of worth and value and that you have something to offer, most of the time our past and our history and our mistakes and our failures and what people have said and our lack of our inconsistencies, our lack of unfinished products, all these things are constantly telling us who we are, and we believe them. How influenced are we? We're heavily influenced by what goes on right here. You know the roommate? The roommate that you let board for free? The roommate that you refuse to evict because y'all agree on so much? And y'all can share? So the summary of this whole thing I've been teaching is, this is to make your life count. To be able to take all the resources that God gave you and all the talents and all the gifts that's within you. In this room, I am not a musician. I am glad we have drummers. I mean, if God would have made me a musician, I would have to have it all around me. I'd play it all at one time. I need you because I don't play. I need you because I don't sing. I need you. You need me because you don't preach and think the way I do. You need that. You need that challenge. You need that prod. But God says if you can believe it, it's possible. So tell the person beside you, you can do it if you can believe it. You can do it. Now, here's the thing about religion and church. People say, amen, I agree. Amen and nodding and agreeing doesn't mean you do it. It just means I agree that's true, but it's just true. So I want to get dreams out of you because my journey here is to help you be successful. And I got some crazy stuff to share with you. So number 8 here is go the extra mile. This is a principle. It is a biblical principle. It is not going the extra mile. What percentage of people, I'm going to let you throw a number out at me. What percentage of people do you think go the extra mile? 10. It's less than 5%. See, you go to work. If you study the statistics, I'm not trying to get rabbit trail here. If you study the statistics on a person that goes to work 8 hours a day, and they were to take all the times you talk to your person in the cubicle and all the time you laughing and every time you need to check your phone when no one's around, the average person works between 5 and 6 hours a day. 2 hours is spent on non-productive activity, not your lunch break, non-productive activity of, hey, how are you doing? What'd you do this weekend? I didn't pay you to do that. Now, I know, well, don't you want me to be friendly? Get to work early and stay late. I'm trying to be careful here, Lord. If you start tracking your time, you'll find out you cheat your employer most of the time. So how do you go the extra mile when you're already in the negative? The average person, just average, works between 4.7 and 5.7 hours a day of actual work where they're doing something at job. That is not going the extra mile. He paid you or she paid you $20 an hour, whatever you get paid. I want you to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. Now you take 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours out of that, you're 15 hours short at the end of the week. Hello, talk to me for a minute. We have the lawyers thing. We want to round out 15 minutes to the next hour. See, let me give you a definition of going the extra mile. It's the habit of doing more than you are paid for. The habit of doing more than you're paid for. Now, notice I put habit in front because a lot of people will do it at certain times. They'll do it at the right environment. They'll do it under when someone's watching. They'll do it at they pick and choose when they want it to look right. I'm talking about a habit where everything you do is you do more than what is expected of you. You do more than what is required of you. You know how when you put something up, you put the cord up on the vacuum or you put the hose up on something and it's off? Yeah, it'll be all right. No, I'm talking about going and unwinding it and putting it on right because you know there's a right way. Now, here's the thing. You got to get this. My wife was raising her hand. It's okay for that's what you believe, but you can't put that on someone else to do that. It has to be a habit that I do, not a habit you want them to do. If you don't, listen, you can tell when someone is not in it. You can tell when someone their heart's not in it. And this is the distinguishing factor here. The extra mile is where you develop a habit that you do more than you get paid. Listen to me now. This is very clear. I want to be careful. This is one of my favorite. I'm not going to say every. Almost everything that I and Diane or Diane and I do is always done with more. When we carry food somewhere, it's not what can we get away with? How do we have more food left over when you go somewhere? It's when you do something, it's how do you add. Every customer in our business, whether it is the landscaping company, this shop, everything that's in my business, the customer always, 100%, without question, gets more than what they paid for. They never get just enough. They always get, it's $50, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 more in a service than what they paid for. Why is this important? When you plant one kernel of seed, here's your biblical precedent, you put one kernel of seed in the ground, a stalk grows, you get 2 to 2.5 ears of corn from that one kernel, you get about 900 kernels of corn from planting that one. You plant one, you get more than what you paid for. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. It's called the law of cause and effect. It's called the law of high returns. And we're going to get into that next week. But if you learn that if I plant something, tell me one thing, you can't plant an apple seed and get one apple. How many apples do you get on an apple? Well, you plant one seed and you get what? I don't know, hundreds of apples, hundreds of plums, hundreds of walnuts, hundreds of oranges. The law is that when you plant, go the extra mile. That seed goes the extra mile and gives you more than you can use. Are you giving your boss, are you giving people When Diane and I, when we were in transition, when I got out of the military and we were staying with someone, we painted the entire interior of their house. No one will ever say, I want you to stay. Versus, I can't wait till you leave. This is a principle you have to get and develop, that when you get it, it is the only thing that gets you at high levels of success. And it is a kingdom principle. Render more and better service. I do this in landscaping. I had a landscaping job this weekend. By the time I left that landscaping job, I had 2 other landscaping jobs in the queue, and they don't. I have one stipulation for my landscaping. If you're on a budget, I'm not your guy. I don't do budgets. I don't do, if you're looking for cheap, if you're looking for economical, if you're looking for whatever, I'm not your guy. There's plenty of whoever out there to do that. We're going to do this where it is the most best looking place around. And when they do, they still get more than what they paid for. They get extra plants. They get extra work. They get extra soil. I don't know. It's whatever I want to do. This would look good if you did it this way. I go ahead and do it the way I think it should look. And if you want to pay for it, great. If not, I've contributed and I've sown seed. There is no minimal. There is no just enough. If you do just enough, you will live with just enough. If you do not enough, you will live with never having enough. You're going to have to go above and beyond to get into this surplus living. Does this make sense to you? Are you getting it? See, going the extra mile is not a practice principle. It is your state of mind. Everything you do it with excellence. Give it everything you got. You sow and you reap. You're planting. This is a principle of success. Now, what I am teaching us, listen, this is so important, is not provable. It's already been proved. Now, whether you agree with me or not, that is your lack of understanding. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm right. And I'm not saying that in a rude, arrogant way. There are tens of thousands of, hundreds of thousands of people before me that have proven success, and these are successful principles. I didn't come up with them. They're biblical, and they're already been proven. Everything I'm teaching you has already been proven, and it is proven by successful people. So whether you agree or amen me or not, I don't need that, because I've already amened myself about it. I'm encouraged by it. And I want to be careful how I say things, because I want it to come across to you in the right way. It's important. See, the attitude of delivering above and more is not ordinary. That is not ordinary. Most people just, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Well, I did what you, and as soon as they're told what to do, guess what they do? They go to their phone. If you ever pull your phone out on a job site, you have automatically robbed from your employer. He did not pay you to be on your phone. He did not pay you to check Facebook. He did not pay you to check social media. He did not pay you to text your friends. And I don't want this to sound harsh. I'm telling you the reality. It may be an emergency, but your supervisor don't know it. It may be an emergency, but you're conveying a message to other people. Well, they're on their phone. I guess nobody said anything to them. Maybe I get on my phone. And now you have 10 people on their phone. And that creates a low productivity. So let's look at a scripture here. 1 Corinthians 15:10. We're going to look at this in 2 or 3 translations. By the grace, the unmerited favor and blessing of God, I am what I am. Say that. I am what I am. And his grace toward me was not found to be for nothing fruitless and without effect. In fact, look at this. This is Paul. This is Paul who said, I worked harder than all of them. I've worked harder than them all. How do you know he worked harder? He wrote almost the entire New Testament. 19 of the 27 books he wrote. That's evident. He has talked about more. He has quoted more. He says, I've worked harder than all the apostles, though it was not really I, but the grace, the favor, the blessing of God that was within me. Can you say when you go to work, I work harder than everybody else in here? How about this? When I go to church, I worship harder than everybody else. I listen harder than everybody else. I'm trying to give you a principle to the degree, put your hands out. To the degree that you lean in something is to the level. If we're both standing up, whoever gives the most strength, the other one goes down. It's kind of like when I teach on prayer. I don't need prompting to pray. I'm going to be the first to pray. I'm going to get my prayer in. It's this whole Christian life. The reason most people can't get this Christian thing to work is because they don't put anything in it. They just it's a 10-minute activity in church and it's 7 days a week. The other 160 hours, if you go, it's 168 hours in a week. So if you're in church 2 hours, it's 166 hours. You don't do anything in it. You don't give it anything. Whatever you do, you got to give it if you're going to be good at something. Can you imagine going to college and going 1 hour a week? Can you imagine going to school and going to one class a week? You'd still be in school. Well, some of us are still trying to be a Christian. Some of us are still trying to be a husband. Some of us are still trying to be a wife. Some of us are still trying to do this. Why? Because we don't have anything in us to go the extra mile. It's developed. It's a skill set. Amplified. Okay, go to the next translation there. I think whichever one, Message or the, yeah. But God's amazing grace has made me who I am, and His grace to me was not fruitless. See, His goodness to me is not fruitless. His salvation to me is not fruitless. I worked harder than all the rest. This is a principle. Well, you didn't pay me for that. You don't pay me enough money to do that. Guess what? You need to find another job. You need to find another job. If they don't pay you to go the extra mile, you need to find another job. You're in the wrong place because you will never be successful where you are. I don't do this. I don't go the extra mile because I'm going to get paid. I go the extra mile because it's my attitude. Do you see when teenagers get an attitude, they get an attitude because something happens, but sometimes they just got an attitude all the time. Next translation. But because God was so gracious, so very generous, here I am. And I'm not about to let His grace go to waste. I'm not about to. Listen, do you know what's inside of you? Do you know the talents that's in you, the gifts that are in you, the wisdom that is in you, the things that you're capable of doing? Don't let them go to waste. The enemy brought a drug to make you get distracted. He brought a opposite sex to make you get distracted. He brought something in your life so you would waste your life and not give God everything you got. Haven't I worked harder trying to do more than any of the others? And you know what? I love it because I hear it a lot. Well, I don't think you have to do all that. Let me tell you something. When you say that, you better make sure your banking account's overflowing and your car is a Bentley and you look like a star. Because when you say you don't think you have to do that, don't think people don't look at you and say, it's obvious you don't. It's obvious that you don't clean your sneakers. It's obvious you don't dress a certain way. That's not a judgment, but what we put, we go the extra mile in how we dress. We go the extra mile in the eyelashes. We go the extra mile in certain colognes. We go the extra mile in where we eat. We go the extra mile. Isn't it amazing that we go the extra mile to impress others, but we don't go the extra mile to be successful? We spend so much energy trying to get other people to think we're somebody when really we're just credit cards. We're credit cards. Okay, Proverbs 22:29. Do you see, now notice this is key. Do you see a man? Do you see a woman? It doesn't stop there. It gives a duality here. Do you see a diligent? Do you see a skillful in their assignment? Is that not good? It says diligent and skillful. Diligent and skillful. How diligent am I? How skillful am I to do this every single time? Proverbs 14:23. I'm just trying to give you some scriptures to nail this down so people don't think it's my opinion, because a lot of people think it's my opinion. In all labor, y'all catch this right? Is that a phone? Huh? No. In all labor, there is a profit. But idle talk leads only to poverty. See, talking. What do you want to do? Well, I want to do this and I want to do that. Oh, someday. We're going to get into someday here just a minute. Listen. There is a resort called Someday Resort. Listen to what I'm telling you. 80% of the population lives at Someday Resort. Someday I'm going to read a book. Someday I'm going to get continuing education. Someday I'm going to upgrade my phone. Someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to cut the grass. Someday I'm going to weed. Someday I'm going to clean. Someday. See, you got to remove someday. You got to vote yourself off the resort. You got to get off this island. There is no someday, it's right now. If you want to get rid of procrastination, right now, do it. Right now, do it. I got home yesterday. What time did I get home? I got off work at 12:30. I had 2 more jobs I had to do and go and look at 2 more landscaping things to nail down. I got home at 3 o'clock. I drank 1 gallon of water between 8 and 12:30. It was hot yesterday. I was dirty. I took my shoes off, took my socks off, hosed down outside the house, put another shirt on, and went to I was tired. Went and looked at 2 other jobs, got home at 3:30. I don't remember what I did when I got home. I did a couple of things. I came back to Wilmington. I didn't get home to 7:30 last night. That's just me. I'm not trying to give you that. It's you cannot, it's not what I can do. Well, I could do that when I come into church this morning. We'll stop on the way after church. No, do it now. You got to break the habit to get off the someday resort. Because it is always, someday I'm going to do this, someday here, someday. Proverbs 12:11. He who tills his land. You may not have land, but you got gifts. You got resources. You got talents. What does that mean? He who hones his talents. He who hones his gift. He who hones. I was telling Daniel this the other day, and I'm going to teach on this down the road. If you would read or do 1 hour a day in your definite chief aim, or your definite purpose, or your definite goal, whatever your goal is, if you will do 1 hour a day, in 1 year, you would have 365 hours. That is, correct me if I'm wrong there, Dr. Z, that is 9 weeks. Y'all didn't hear what I'm saying. Y'all didn't say amen and shake your head on that one. 1 hour a day. No. Pause for a minute. Can you imagine you exchanging 1 hour a day of your phone time, of useless nothing, and spending 1 hour reading something that is about art, or reading something that is about landscaping, reading something that is about public speaking, reading something that is about history, reading something about business, reading something about marriage? How many books have you read? I haven't read any this year. That's why your marriage is jacked up. You read the book for me. Can you imagine if a couple read 1 hour? No. Let's back up and do 30 minutes. Let's break it up. We're there. What if you read 30 minutes a day of how to be a spouse? No. What if you read 30 minutes a day of how to cook? Oh, no. What if you read 30 minutes a day of how to raise and train your kids? What if you read 30 minutes a day of how to landscape and how to plant flowers and what's a perennial? Do you know there is no way that you could do 1 hour a day for 1 year and it not bring you profit? Did you hear what I just said? Do you know how many people I know that went to Master Gardener stuff? How many of them make any money on it? Listen to me. I'm trying to give you a positive and encouraging. My landscaping, Diane, she's glad to let me do it. I went landscaping. I worked 12 hours. My average hourly pay was $166 an hour. $166 out, $2,000 for 12 hours. So if you make $500 a week, I made more in 12 hours than many people make in 3 weeks. I'm not trying to boast. I'm trying to tell you all you have to do is work an area in your life till you get good at it, and it's something people want, and people will pay you to do what they don't want to do, and you can walk away. I worked from 8 o'clock to 2:30 on Friday, and from 8 o'clock to 12:30 on Saturday, and I walked away at $166 an hour. Now, I would rather work 12 hours than 3 weeks. I don't know about you. I don't want to get up three weeks at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to work 8 hours a day for 3 weeks to make that kind of money. And that kind of work produced 2 more jobs while I was working. Y'all not hearing what I'm saying. You got to go the extra mile. Now, I'm going to show you here in a minute, we're not all going to go there. And I'm going to show you why we're not all going to go there. Wherever you want to go, it's unlimited. It's the same thing that has happened with the detail. It's the same thing. I mean, when we go to our mountain house, it's just, my gosh, they're like, what are you doing? We are always upgrading. There is no average. There is no just enough. There is no take a break. There is no, this is vacation. Does that make sense with you? He who tills his land, this is good. He who tills his land, he who tills his gifts, he who tills his stuff, not someone else's. Quit trying to farm someone else. Till your own land will be satisfied with bread. But he who follows worthless pursuits. What are those worthless pursuits? I'm going to tell you, the most worthless pursuit you will ever follow is your phone. And he who follows worthless pursuits lacks sense and without understanding. Now, if you tell somebody you don't have any sense, now what's the first thing? You're rude. Yeah, I am rude. You lack understanding and you lack sense. I can handle it. I can handle it. Because we think, like our parents said, you have to do this. Well, I don't have to do that. Yeah, you will have to do it. If you're going, it's a proven thing. You don't get to bypass this. You don't get to reap where you've not sown. You don't get to break God's laws and the universal laws. I know you think you can, or we think we can. We've all done that. I can get high and it not be, I won't get addicted. How'd that work for you? I can play around with this and you ended up with an affair. I did this and you ended up kicked out. You did this and you keep playing the edge and finding yourself in trouble when you just, I don't go there. See, there's a lot of things that arouse your love nature. There is some work we don't like. How many of you guys work you don't like? Electrical is, I do it because I have to, but electrical is one of the things that I don't like, but I keep working at it. There's some work we like moderately, and there's some work we love. Listen to me. If you're working a job you don't like, you need to get out of your job as fast as you can. Leave it. Put it. Go ahead and give you 2 weeks' notice and go find another job. Listen, you don't have to worry about it because if you can have the habit of doing the extra mile, it don't matter what job you give me because I'm going to advance because I'm going to do the extra mile and already advance. The extra mile puts you 80% above every person working. Y'all ready for this? This is a 2023 statistic, so you can give it a 3%, 5%, or 10% margin of error. It don't matter. The stats are still astounding. 60% of the workforce say they're detached from their job. Detached. 60%. Now, we're talking about going the extra mile, so show me where the extra mile is. You can do that in any of this. 60% of the workforce say they're detached from their job. 80% of Americans say they dislike their job. 80%. Zach, did you hear me? 80%. No, y'all got to get this. I love landscaping. I love detailing. I love everything I do. You know why? Because I have learned to develop the attitude that whatever I put my hands to do it with the best I can. You cannot give it all and not develop a love for it. Hello, is this helping anybody? It's making sense. I'm telling you, this will work. I'm proving to you it's work. I will show you it will work. 19% of the workforce are miserable. 50% of the workforce feels stressed at work. 41% of the workforce are worried. 22% of the workforce feels sad. 18% of the workforce feels angry. Only 20% of the workforce feels passionate about anything they do. I'm just trying to make it a retirement. Just trying to do. I've been in it too long. Listen, 18, I'll walk away from anything. I am not going to be miserable. I'm not sticking in it. I went to take trash to the dump, and someone said, "You cooking this weekend?" To the convenience site. I said, "I am cooking. It's just for family." "Man, cook me something. I'll pay you for it." And I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want so many racks of ribs." And I said, "You know what? I think I'd do that because I cook the ribs, and it pays for all the other food." Come on and talk to me. I'm not a cook. I've just been doing it every weekend or every time I can for so long and getting feedback and getting that till I've developed a skill. One cook is 15 hours. You may not do it every day, but I'm reading stuff and looking at stuff, and now it has, listen to what I'm saying to you. Now a grill is turning profit. How does a grill turn profit? A grill, the one you cook on all the time. I've told the young people this all the time. I told Carmen and all that. If you're going to be on your phone, I said, Learn skill because people don't know how to do stuff on their phone. Learn social media, learn this stuff, and then people will pay you. Don't just be on there consuming. Be on there how to do meta tags, how to do Google ads, how to do this. People pay. I'm paying people right now to do Google ads for me. Why? I don't want to do it. And they're making money doing Google ads. As much hours if we spend on our phone and social media, you should know how to do Google ads. Work which is done merely for the sake of earning a living is seldom liked. See, your longevity is determined by the love element of your job. Whatever you do, you got to learn to love it. Okay, so I want to give you sound reasons why you should develop the habit of performing. I want to give you some reasons why you should go the extra mile. Can I give you two? Two reasons why, sound reasons why you should always perform more service than what you are paid for. Number one, you establish a reputation as being a person who always delivers more service and superior service than what you paid for. It makes you stand out. If I need a job done, call Dr. Z. He's going to stand out. If I need a job done, call Bertha. She's going to stand out. Whatever that when you stand out and have the extra mile, people will call you. I'm giving you the example with the cooking. Will you cook for me? Yeah. I got to cook anyway. I'll be glad to throw something on the grill. And when they like it and you do good, they'll tell you, I don't care what it costs. I thought this was going to be like, because I'm pushing it more than what average is. And they say, yeah. You just when you cook, you put it on. So let me tell you how you know when you're making money. You know you're making money is when you're sleeping, money is making. If you only make money when you're working, you hadn't yet got to the place of making money. Because as soon as you stop working, you don't have any money coming in. Hello, talk to me. You got to get to the place where money is being made while you sleep. That's called overwhelming success. It's working for you just like the debt calculator is working when you're asleep. Life is working for you and you're making money. So the habit will make you become more valuable. Listen, the better you get at something and the more valuable you become, you get to set your compensation. If you go out, I'm just using you, if Daniel goes out and tries to do a landscaping job, and they say, how much you want an hour? I want $166 an hour. You understand what I'm saying? Your product has to be so good, it has to stand out, and they know you're going to give more than what you should. I can't tell you how many customers will say, just treat it like it's yours. I said, that's how I always do it. This is my car. When it's here, I sit in it and I say, do I like this? Does this look right? What do I think? This is mine. This is my yard. This is my landscaping bed. This is this. I own it shortly. And it determines whether I want it or don't want it. Number two, you not only exercise these unique qualities of going the extra mile, you're not only building a valuable reputation, but this consistent, persistent habit makes you more proficient and more skilled. Because the more you do it, the more you practice. Remember in Joshua 1, it says practice. The more you read the Bible, the better you get at practicing it. The more you practice something, the better you get. The more you practice, the better you get. And after a while, you are really proficient at what you do. So here's the twofold reward for developing the habit. I gave you two reasons. Here's the reward. One, you're going to get greater material gain. Those who don't have the habit, you're going to make more money than them. Number two, you get happiness and satisfaction and self-confidence from doing this. I'm happy that I'm getting paid really good. I'm happy and satisfied at the completion of my work. Does that make sense? And then I'm self-confident that I'm constantly accomplishing something, and it's building confidence in me. Look at the person beside you and say, you're your own university. You're your own university. Self-improvement, that's my responsibility. Self-education is my responsibility. I think I shared with you 2 or 3 weeks ago or a month ago that the average high achiever CEO, the average, not mom and pops in most places, not managers, the high-level CEOs, the ones that's in the millions, they read a minimum of 50 books a year. Minimal. Go to 7 conferences a year. That's just, these as studying successful people, what does it take? If you want to be the best worship leader, when's the last time you've been to a worship conference? Not that you have to go. What's going on out here? I just got to know what's happening and where we are. You can be a great musician, but it's better if you go and let someone teach you, even though you're good. And once you feel like you've drawn everything from this teacher, then I go and learn from this drummer. And then I go and learn from this drummer. And then you see this guy, I don't know who he is on TV, on a TikTok with the beard. He just, and he's got millions of followers because he does stuff that AI can't even do. But he has practiced hours and 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 hours a day on the drums, and now he can set his price at anything he wants in the drum world. Am I right, Dr. Z? Hundreds of $1,000s he can make being a drummer. Oh. I'm my own university. I'm my own university. I'm responsible for me. Oh, but the 80% of the population on the resort, they like, when you live on this someday resort, you like to share your excuses. We like to share our reasons why. Yeah, I didn't get a good education. Yeah, I lived in a podunk area. Yeah, my mom and dad divorced. My boss is a jerk. I'm too old to start now. Oh, here's my favorite one. You know, when I was young, I got mixed up with the wrong crowd. Pause for a minute. Listen, pause for a minute. Let me ask you a question. Who's driving your car? But let's pause right here. We don't go any further. Who's driving your car? There's no one else in the driver's seat but you. You are where you are. You did what you do. You're going where you're going because you're driving. There is no excuse. No one is telling you where to go. No one is telling you who to hang out with. No one is telling you how to worship. No one is telling you what to read and what not to read. No one is telling you to eat out or not eat out. No one is telling you you're living off of your desires and your wants, and you're living out of not having self-discipline and plans, and you are the driver of your car, and if you don't like where your car is carrying you, then you have to change the brain that is driving the car. Please hear what I'm about to say, and I never thought I would say this. There is not any more pathetic people than Christians. Because they think, because they know Jesus, that God is going to come down and just make their life just like, woo. No, you still go get disease and can die. You still can get in car accidents. You still got to pay bills. You still got to go to Food Line. You still got to go to Harris Teeter. You still got to buy clothes. You got to live. God does not do that for you. And no. It is my right, it is my responsibility to be successful. This is the funny thing right here. How many of you have ever seen $1 million? Yeah, physically. No one's ever seen $1 million. I'm talking about cash. Why? I'm not talking about assets. You know what? Here's Diane and our goal. My goal is I want $1 million cash. Not assets. I want Rania and Roman and people to come and say, that's $1 million. Yeah, what's the big deal? Because until you see it, you don't know it exists. How do you know it even exists? I'm not going to keep it in the house, but I am going to have $1 million, $100 bills, and come look, touch it, feel it, slap it, smell it. I want you to know that there is $1 million, that it is attainable. And why is that attainable for me? Remember, separation, vision, formation, increase, influence, and become a blessing. I have got a friend that has been struggling with a vehicle for a year, and he still doesn't have his vehicle running. I want to be able to just go and buy a vehicle for people. I don't want you to struggle. My teaching to you is not to elevate me or any. I want you to stop struggling, and you will always struggle until you put principles in place. You can't pray your way out of this. You can't read your Bible out of this. And it doesn't mean Jesus loves you more or loves you less. He's given everything for you. He gave 5 talents, 3 talents, 1 talent. You multiplied 5 and made 10. You multiplied 3 and got 5. And what'd you do? You buried it. What did it say? Till the soil. Till your land. You don't bury your gifts and talents. Everything you need to be successful is already in you. You just have not been focused enough to understand I am valuable, and there's just as much as in me that's in you. There's just as much as in me that's in Zach. There's just as much as in me that's Greg. We're none deficient, void, or whatever. God is not a respecter of persons. Does that make sense? So I'm going to diagnose some of us with a disease. Excusitis. And if you want to know how to spell that, it's Excusitis. Excusitis. It is a mental disease It is a mental disease for people who make excuses for everything. A mental disease that people make excuses for everything. Why didn't you do this? And they're legit. And if you're not careful, you'll believe them. The bad thing is not that we want other people to believe them, we believe them. See, this whole thing is about, let me give you the example of what I'm talking to you about going the extra mile. It is like personal fitness, okay? If you like personal fitness, 1, you work out, strength train, whatever you do. Guess what? When you stop, you don't maintain your muscle tone, you don't maintain your flexibility, you don't maintain your stamina, you don't maintain your cardio, you don't maintain it. When you stop, atrophy sets in and you begin a decline. When you stop growing and you stop learning and you stop applying these successful principles, you go into atrophy. You can make this thing work and be successful and stop doing it in 5 years. I don't know what happened. You stopped doing it. You stop doing it. Just like you lose your flexibility and stamina when you quit working out and your cardio, you will lose your success edge when you do that. So a couple of questions to answer this. Is there something you want to become right now that you're not? Answer that question. Is there something I want to become or be that I'm currently not? If that is the case, then you can't continue to do what you're doing to get there. If you want to become something or achieve something that you currently haven't achieved, then you're going to have to add something to yourself to get there. If you have not achieved what you want, then where you are is not capable of producing it. Come on and talk to me. If I have not achieved what I wanted to achieve, then that means I have not put in the right skills or focused on the right stuff. Let's say I want to build my, what is this called? Triceps. I want to build my triceps. Well, this right here don't build triceps. This right here don't build. I have got to work and isolate that. It's called isolation. These principles I am teaching are isolated principles. You've got to isolate self-confidence. You've got to isolate habit of saving. You've got to isolate definite chief aim. You've got to isolate imagination. You've got to isolate. Or you go have those prison guys, it's just, they're like Yosemite Sam. They're all up here and their legs about this big around. They're like this right here. You got no legs. You didn't isolate. I don't like that. Wait till we get into pleasing personality and accurate thinking. And to be overwhelmingly successful is called well-rounded. See, self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. See, you can have a goal, but if you don't have self-discipline, you can't get to the accomplishment. You got to bridge these two together. I love this quote. You can hit a target. You cannot hit a target you can't see. How about this quote? If you do not know where you're going, then every road will get you there. If you don't have a definite chief aim, then everything you do is go get you to your definite chief aim because you don't have one. So I'm fine-tuning. My definite chief aim is fine-tuning it. And my wife is my biggest supporter. Sometimes she's a defense attorney. She's a devil's advocate. I don't know why they call it that. But sometimes it irritates me because it's like she is not for me. But you know what she's doing? It's making me think about things I hadn't thought about. And it brings out, well, I didn't think about that. I don't have an answer for that. And I didn't think about that. Now she's put that in me. Now I got to solve this issue. Okay, now listen. A few more minutes here because I got to give you something that is life-changing. All this is life-changing, but I want to give you this right here. You ready? Don't answer any of this, but I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have, on a piece of paper in your house or whatever, do you have your goals, personal goals, family goals, whatever, do you have your goals written out on paper? On paper. Now, I know you got a definite chief aim we're talking about. Do you have goals written out on paper? Is there anybody who would like to raise your hand and say, yeah, I do have my goals written out on paper? Okay, now listen to me. Only 3% of the population has their goals written out. 3%. 97% of people do not have written goals. Listen to me. Unwritten goals, all that I am telling you, is off limits to you. You cannot reach it without written goals. Can't reach it. Too many distractions, too many cares. Hey, you want to go there? If you don't have it written, you'll say, no, I can't. Because why? Because I'm committed to 1 hour a day of reading. I'm committed to 1 hour a day of working on landscaping. I'm committed to 1 hour a day. I can't. But hey, you want to go? Let's catch up. On what? 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 This is a mansion right here. I don't need to catch up and you drop all your garbage in my mansion. This is high-end property. We're not going to park up in here. The most successful people say no to more people than you can imagine. The no is their number one word. Because you're a distraction. Now, I know you're a socialite and a partier, and you like to have fun and play games and laugh and just have fun. Good. That's okay. You get to do that. See, everybody gets to decide that. I have fun doing other things. I leave over those things. And what did I walk away from? 3%, listen to this. Only 3% of people have written goals and plans. You go like this one, Dr. Z. This 3%, y'all ready for this? This 3% earn more than the 97% combined. Did you get that, Dr. Z? The 3% of people that have written goals earn more money than the 97% combined of people who have no written goals. Let me give you another one. Either you are working on your goals or you're working for someone else to fulfill their goals. Come on, y'all not talking. Either you are working to fulfill your goals in life or you're working to fulfill someone else's goals. And life is so unfair, isn't it? No, just write down your goals. USA Today, this is good. USA Today shared a one-year research on New Year's resolutions. New Year resolutions not written down, only 4% were maintained. New Year resolutions written down had a 44% success rate, 1,100% success rate. Just writing them down one time. One time. And high achievers, they go over them every day. Reminding them, you got your goals, my goal, it keeps every day, I'm refocused on what my goals are for the day. Oh, I want to get out of debt. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to go on vacation. Okay, you got to have a bridge from where you want to go to get there. So, okay, it's $1,000. I want a car. Parents, listen to me. Listen to me. With your children growing up, every kid's going to want a car. Good. You want a car? Good. What kind of car you want? Oh, I want this kind of car. How much is that car going to cost? It's going to cost $18,000. Okay, then you need to figure out how much money you going to save because I'm not paying $18,000. So how much are you going to save? Wow, oh no. I was hoping, ain't no hope. Let me tell you what hope is. Hope is not a strategy, and wish is a goal without energy. Don't you love me? This has nothing to do with love. This has to do with you growing up. So our brain, we're running close here. Our brain has both a success mechanism and a failure mechanism. Your brain has a success mechanism and a failure mechanism. The failure mechanism is the temptation to follow the undisciplined life, fun and easy. That's automatic. Where's Lisa? Oh, that's default. We have a default failure mechanism in our brain. What's the easiest? What's the shortest? What's the quickest? What's the substitute? What can I get away with? What's minimal? That is a failure mechanism. Listen to this. The only way that you can have a success mechanism is it can only be triggered with goals. Y'all didn't get that. Y'all didn't get it. A goal triggers the success mechanism and overrides the failure mechanism. Only a goal can do that. Oh, I know. Y'all want to hear about Jesus and feed the poor, and y'all want to wash someone's feet, and y'all want to work. Yeah, I know. But, Jesus was smart enough. This is what most people don't know about Jesus. He had a whole entourage of people that were wealthy supporting his ministry because he knew the average person was broke and didn't have any money. Go study the scripture. He had a woman with the purple dye and all that. He had an entourage of business people that supported his ministry because most of the people he was dealing with had no money. You have to go out and get people to support you to help. You can't help the people in rehab without money. It's tens and thousands of dollars. And the success rate is low. And relapse is high. When people tell me about, well, I think the church ought to do this, well, how much money you give? Shut your mouth. You don't give enough money to pay the light bill. The light bill's $500, $600. In these big churches, the light bill's $15,000. Like Life Point and all this, it's $10,000 and $15,000. So how much is your $20 a month going to actually pay anything? It would take 20 years to pay for the light bill for 1 month. I'm telling you, people can talk, but they're let's go back to the scripture. They don't have any common sense. I just feel like. Okay, so we're done. Action steps. Everybody say action step. Okay, I'm going to give you an action step. What is an action step? Define action step. You have to do something. The whole thing about the kingdom of God is action step. If we would learn this, when you hear something in a church or on a podcast or whatever you do, or you read a book, don't just highlight it and say, that is so good, that is so good. You must have action steps. Without action steps, it's like looking in the mirror and walking away and say, did you ever do that? Walk away. Did I do that? Did I brush my teeth? Did I do this? Did I do that? So let me give you some action steps, okay? One big one. Take out a piece of paper. You can write these down. It's probably on your thing. Take out a piece of paper. You write down 10 goals that you would like to achieve in the next 12 months. Don't overthink this. 3 to 5 minutes. You don't have a week. You write down, you can do this individually in marriages, whatever. What are 10 goals? I'm going to give you something called mind storming at another time, and it's a lot more intense. But I'm high level of success. You say, how do you do that? See, most people, it's go work and make $40,000, $50,000 a year the rest of their life. That's what most people's go do. And that's good. But it's nice to be able to go out and get in your swimming pool. It's nice to be able to have a boat. It's nice to be able to have other houses. It's nice to be able to tell people, hey, go up and stay in a house. It's nice to bless people with stuff. Larry and Cindy were some of the most, they blessed people. Larry would, round my check, Cindy, round my check, Cindy, round my check, Cindy, round my check, Cindy. Larry was a giver. He was a giver. I miss him. Write down 10 goals. Now, let me put in here. Let me tell you 4 areas of my life. Family, finances, health, and possessions. Health must be a part of your goals. Health must be a part of your goals. Family must be a part. I got family that love me and family that don't like me. I don't worry about those who don't like me. I worry about those who do, and those who do, I cultivate them. I can live with them or without them. It ain't no big deal. It's not my choice. It's your choice. I'm here. You can be a part of my life or not. I am not. Diane's got people in her family. You know, a sister hadn't spoken in years. Hey, we've done everything. It's okay. I'm not going to sweat over it. As long as I know my conscience is clear, I'm good. You get to live your life. I get to live mine. You get to be successful or unsuccessful. It's all yours. But you're going to be successful. You're going to look successful. Put those glasses on. Put those glasses on real quick. Yeah, put those glasses on real quick. Put them on. No, put them on. Now stand up and look. Stand up. No, stand up. Tell me she don't look like a star. Woo! That's my girl right there. Hey, stand up. Don't think that's cheap right there either. Huh? Don't think that. That's no consignment shop stuff right there now. That's no hand me down, whatever you want to call them. None of those. Okay, so that's mine. Finances, family, health, and possessions. Now listen to me. If you could, which goal out of your 10 goals would you like to see accomplished, if you could, in the next 24 hours? You're narrowing this down, okay? If I could get one goal out of this list of 10 that could be completed in 24 hours, what would it be? Which goal out of these 10 goals that if I accomplish this goal, it's going to help me get all the other goals? They're so connected that, but this one here is going to help me. You understand what I'm saying? This one may be a good one, but it's not going to help me get. But this one here, see, you got to have some self-discipline. This is the one I want, but if I get this one, this can help me get 2 or 3 at one time. Come on, y'all not helping me. Which goal, if I achieve, would help you achieve the rest on the list? Which goal would have the greatest impact in my life? Circle that goal, put it on another piece of paper, and set a deadline on it. What happens when you don't get the deadline? When you don't hit that deadline, what do? You change the deadline. It ain't a big deal. But I have come to find out that when I fail and don't hit my deadline, my failure is better than most people's success. Y'all didn't get me. Just what I did on trying to reach that deadline is above most people's level of success. Oh, y'all not hearing me. And then once you set the deadline, what can I do to achieve it? What is my first step? That's real big. What is my first step to do this? I want to get out of debt. Let's just say that. What do I need to do to achieve that? Well, I got to have more money coming in. Well, what do I need to do? Well, then I need to go get a second job. I need to find out what skill I got. I need to tutor. I need to do this. I need to help. I need to teach a language class. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? What is my first step? Listen to me. Work it every day. We had this conversation yesterday. You don't work it today and skip 2 weeks. It's just not coming along. You missed it for 14 days. I worked 1 day. So if you have a money deadline, then you say, David, when we go build some fences? When are we going to do this? And you start telling everybody, you need some help, you need some help, I need extra money. This is my goal, I'm trying to get this. This is my goal, I'm trying to get this. I got a deadline for 90 days. I got a deadline for 6 months. I need to get a car. This is my deadline. I'm trying to get some extra work. Do you want me? Whatever your skill set is, I will clean houses. I will do whatever I need to do because I am trying to achieve my goal. I got meat on right now cooking. Yeah, you know what time I got up? Hey, I was up at 4:30 getting the grill going. I ain't got time to be sleeping in. I didn't cook when I felt like cooking. I cooked every time I could cook, and it's produced. I went the extra mile this morning. You work on it every day. So this is what separates people. Why are some people successful and some not? Well, it's because of the skin color. No, that's a victim. It's because I don't have enough education. No, that's a victim. No, it's because I was born in South Carolina. No, it's because my mom and dad didn't have any education. No, it's because I don't have any goals. It's because I don't go the extra mile. It's I don't have a plan. I don't have any self-discipline. I don't have an imagination. So the first thing you got to do in all this is eliminate your disease, which is excusitis. Listen to me. No excuses. Parents, look at me. Stop letting your children give you excuses for why they do or didn't do what they did. I'm not talking about emergencies. Here's one. This is legit. I'm running late. I'm running late. Traffic's bad. That's an excuse. I know it's a good legitimate, but if you've been in Wilmington and Leland, do you not know traffic is bad? Right outside in front of this shop, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock, the traffic is standstill all day long. So do you think that the day you have a meeting, it's not going to be bad traffic? So you make the anticipation and say, traffic is probably going to be Memorial Weekend. Traffic is probably going to be a little worse. Worser. So therefore, we need to leave 10 or 15 minutes earlier. That's going the extra mile. Come on, y'all not helping me. I want every one of you to be successful. And my prayer is that every one of you will. The truth is, everyone won't. But I'm giving you everything it takes to make the cake. But it can stay in the box. It can stay in a piece of paper. But I am telling you, nothing's missing, nothing's broke. And in 10 years, hopefully, if we still know each other, are you still hanging out with us? I will invite you to our home, and you get to look at a cube of $1 million. Say, what's the big deal? Because I want people to know that God's that good. I want people to know that nothing's impossible for you. I want you to know that you don't have to be a porn star. You don't have to be a movie star. You don't have to be a rock star. You don't have to do all those things to be successful. Abba loves you. He's for you. And He wants you to be an influencer. He wants you to bless other people. He wants you to be able to buy cars for people and homes for people. He wants you to be able to tell the story of how good God is and why you are where you are. And I'm very clear with this. All that Diane and I are and am and going to be, it is because of my relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. I give it everything I got. There's no hands in my pocket in worship. There's no phone in my pocket in worship. I'm here for Him. I'm living for Him. I'm worshiping for Him. I'm praying for Him. And I don't care who likes me and who don't like me. This is about He likes me. And if He likes me, I don't care who likes me. Just hope you go to a different part of heaven than I'm going. Because you're going to be miserable up there because I'm going to be up there. Stand with me. Raise your hands. No more excuses. Let's pray for healing over this disease. We speak over this disease that it is released. Set goals. I'm going to set goals. Tell yourself I'm going to set goals. Or you going to go home and set goals. It can be one goal. Just start. One goal. What's my goal for the week? Maybe it's a goal to start getting up at a certain time. Well, I was up late last night. Excuse. He says, I want you to have overwhelmingly success. I want you to have incredible prosperity and success. I've given you everything you need. Come on, receive it. Break some stuff off you. I'm going to till my soil. I'm going to break up the fallow ground in my life.
Nobody's gonna hold me down. Nobody's gonna hold me down. Nobody's gonna hold me down. I will be overwhelmingly successful in everything I put my hands on. Nobody's gonna hold me down. Nobody's gonna hold me down. Nobody.
Don't let anybody hold you down.
Nobody.
Family, friends,
Nobody's gonna
jobs,
hold me down.
past, things said, things spoken, looks. Starting today, I'm going to spend 1 hour. I'm just trying to pump you up. I'm going to spend 1 hour in something every day. I'm going to spend 1 hour cooking every day, reading about cooking. I'm going to spend 1 hour sewing. Can you imagine learning to sew? You'd be sewing everything in the house in a year, 360. It's all about self-discipline. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I love you. I will not be here. Diane and I are going to see my mom next weekend. Lisa will be speaking. Love you. Appreciate you. Happy Memorial Weekend.
Nobody shout to the Lord. Shout to the Lord. Let's give today with joy and expectation and enthusiasm. Because